excited. It's like, what more else could you want than the independence?
Right.
Like what else?
Yeah, it's the ultimate. Yeah.
Like, okay, you could be rich here in America, and you could have your Phantom and your Wraith and your everything else, and be doing it, but you still rocking under the authority of the people that kidnapped your ancestors.
Right.
Like I don't want to be in that situation.
And then also like you as a people, you still get no respect. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because when you think about I always talk about this, like people always want to talk about like Trayvon Martin and all these people and think and talk about hoodies and all that stuff. But no, let's talk about Henry Louis Gates, the professor from Harvard, who got arrested in his own home because they don't respect black folk. You know what I'm saying? So it's like regardless of whether it's the guy who, if you want to make it an issue of him stealing from the store or with a hoodie or whatever, but no, let's talk about the people every day who wear suits and who are still because of the color of their skin. So at the end of the day, people want to make it seem like this is only an issue that affects one urban. Right. It's not true.
Yeah.
It affects everybody. And
And I think a major issue is we have to stop asking for them to do something.
Oh, absolutely.
For us.
I agree.
Self-determined.
I agree.
Because I think in just meetings and organizations that have been around, it's always, well, we should go to their office and tell them to do this for us. Yeah. No, you should gather around, create an organization, create a government within yourself, and then actually implement it. And that's a lot of people. And then going back to that independence, like even in their own independence, they're still looking for somebody to do something.
Right. And that's why I say I don't want to say let. Like, right. You don't ask somebody. You know what I'm saying? You don't ask somebody, can I be free?
Can I be free?
If that was the case, they couldn't have did it. Of course, you know I'm gonna be free.
Right. Like it's making the case, and we were like all kind of fooled and bamboozled. Nobody thought that like, hey, like the enslavement part was like, oh yeah, we free from enslavement. But like, nah, you still gotta listen to us from a mass level.
Exactly. And then it's crazy, right? We say, hey, we're gonna free you, except if you are a prisoner, unless you're a criminal.
It's the fine print.
Right, it's the fine print. Unless you're a criminal, and then so now there's no so now unless you're a criminal, so now what we'll do is we'll give you the guns, we'll give you the drugs, we'll give you the things that's gonna make you a criminal, so you can still.
And no, we'll create the laws. Right. We'll create the laws, and where they're not in your favor, and then we can lock you up easier.
Right. So mass incarceration was
and then we'll
no slavery.
We'll let you go to college right there, give you a job.
We'll lock you
because
up
now there's people.
40. We'll remove the father from the household, a whole generation of them. So,
it's a system.
Absolutely.
It's a system that's not here to benefit us in any kind of way. It wasn't set up to.
Right.
Even as much as they try to fix it, right? Like, okay, Barack's president, we have more blacks in power, blah blah blah. We're trying to fix this internally flawed and broken system. You have to scrap the system if it were to be an actual commingled, true, united America. But that's not what the quest is. The first thing is free the descendants of the Africans that you enslaved. That was the first thing that should have happened from the rip. That never happened. And then when you look at even the slaves going free, check out what happened. So you work in my fields, you work all day, 7 days a week, no holidays, no pay, no whatever, right? And I gotta feed you, I have to clothe you, I have to take care of you, blah, blah. So all they did was say, go ahead and be free. Right? You still gotta work for us anyway. But now I don't gotta take care of you, now I don't gotta feed you, now I don't gotta clothe you, now I don't gotta house you. Now you gotta go pay for all that stuff yourself while I go give you minimum wage. Or make you work your way up from the gutter, from the scraps. So it's like a better place for them anyway. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of slaves chose to stay with their masters. They chose to stay because they didn't know how to exist on their own.
Yo, who in the world would know how to exist on their own if you and your grandma and your grandma's grandma and your grandma's grandma all were enslaved for the last 250 years? Who in the world wouldn't, and you couldn't be educated, who would know how to maneuver? But how does a government that is built on quote unquote Christian values and morals and freedom and equality for all, how could you say it's equal or fair or just? Like, I wouldn't think it. If we were Switzerland Americans, right? We weren't black. We're Switzerland Americans. We were kidnapped for 250 years. And you had the Swiss try to figure out 4 million of them. 4 million white Switzerland people here in America after 250 years of slavery to figure out what the hell to do with themselves. After they couldn't be educated, couldn't own land, couldn't own property, couldn't have businesses, couldn't be industrious, have creative enterprise. How the hell do you leave that up to 4 million people to figure it out for themselves? And then be mad when they go do crazy shit to try to come up. They create laws that's like, hey, if you do this, can't do that. If you do this, don't do this, don't do this. You go to jail, you go back to slavery. So we're gonna let you go, but under these systems and these laws, and we're not giving you a dime to help you out.